Hello everyone. Today, we are going to discuss why I love Odoo as a developer. As a developer, it will come to a point where you will notice what are the pros and cons of several web frameworks out there. In my case, having experience working with other frameworks, I see what are the advantages of Odoo. For those who don't know what Odoo is, it's an open source ERP system having its own Python and JavaScript framework. There are several built-in standard free apps ready to use like CRM, sales, invoicing, project, website, etc. It has two versions, the community version and the enterprise version, which was built on top of the community version. Since it's an open source, we can get all the source code of the community version and extend it based on our needs. So I'm just gonna break down the points I love about Odoo as a developer. Alright, let's get started. First on my list are the free modules already available in Odoo. As you can see, we have total of 33 free applications already installed. Just imagine if you build just one of these modules from scratch using other frameworks. Let's say the sales module. It would take a lot of time to build. Then you also need to integrate it into CRM, invoice, etc. But Odoo just gives it for free. How nice is that, right? And since it's modular, you can select any apps you want that suit your needs. For example, if the company needs a website, you don't need to create other apps from scratch like online chat, CRM, sales, e-commerce, etc. Or use other external libraries since it's already available in Odoo and you just need to install them. Out of 33 apps, there are 20 which are enterprise versions that need a license before you can install them. Next is about security. In Odoo, you don't need to worry about setting this up since it's already there for you. So you only need to define the security level you want. Let me show you how easy to define a set of security. Odoo uses XML, so to add a new role, just add a new element record and target the name of the model. In Odoo, role can be referred as groups and is defined under model res.groups. It uses a similar MVC pattern. We have a model, view, and controller, except that Odoo makes it more advanced. Just copy and paste to define several roles. Then each of these groups will have access rights to read, write, create, and unlink, defined in a CSV format. In this file, you are able to select which model this group belongs to and then add the permission. So if you created a new model named vehicle, you can set the permissions easily for a user and a manager. And this group is not limited to only one model. You can add this group to other models with specific access rights. You can also categorize these groups by adding a new category under ir.module.category model and using that as a category ID for each group. Since this is a manager, we can automatically inherit all the access rights of other groups, like group vehicle user, under the field implied IDs. Now when creating or updating a user, you can easily select the access with the correct category. This role or group is not limited to only models, since you can also attach it to a menu, views, and actions, and even manually call this role when executing some Python or JavaScript codes. How awesome is that, right? With only a few lines of codes, you are able to use it many times in different use cases. Another security feature is record rules, wherein you can set access rights based on the record. A good example is to not allow other salesperson to edit other salesperson clients or prospects. Or if you are in a multi-company setup, you can easily restrict records that belong only to a specific company. Next is ORM API. What I like when defining a model in Odoo is that it will automatically create all the tasks for you, like creating the tables in the database by just defining the field types you want. Thanks to ORM API, the interaction to the database is very easy. The amazing part of this is you don't need to create a controller to implement CRUD functionality and define a view manually to add the form views. Just create a new menu, add a new window action, and add that window action to the new menu. Then in window action, just define what view you want, like tree, form, graph, or pivot view. For this line of codes, you are able to create the tables from the database, a menu, a different views automatically. But you're not limited to that since you can customize these views to your liking. Create a new record under ir.ui view model and define what view you want, and based on the setup of each view, just add the necessary fields. Then each of these views and field widgets, you are also able to inherit it using Odoo old JavaScript framework, wherein the syntax is similar to React.js or Vue.js. The best part of this is that if you want to implement your own template, replace the window action with a client action and use Odoo old JavaScript framework. And that's it. You can do your own layout as you want. I have already created tutorials for this. I will leave the link in the description for you to check. Then in terms of table relation, it's easy since you just need to define in the field itself. If you want to connect one record to a model, use many to one. If you want to connect multiple records, use many to many. If you want all the records connected to the current model, use one to many, and add the field name used in many to one field. The good thing about relational fields is that Odoo has a set of operations like map, filtered, and sorted. So under the current model itself, or if you have a model that is related to another model, you don't need to create another line of codes since you can just continue calling existing methods. For example, under sale order, after searching by ID, if you want to get the sale order lines, just access it using that notation and the field name which is order line. Out of these order lines, if you want to filter it by a certain category, you can just continue in the same code by adding the filtered method and passing the lambda function. Since this order line is an object, you can then access the product ID and inside the product model, access the category under field name categ ID. And under the category model, access the ID. Depending on how you filter it can be by name or any other existing field in the category model. Let's say by ID is equal to 8. In this line of codes, you are still under the sale order line model. We can still extend this if you want to get only the list of product ID by using the map method and passing the name of the field, which is product ID. The same in the filtered function, it will give you the product model. This means I can call again another method, and for now, let's call the sorted method by passing a lambda function and then filter it by product name. Then lastly, let's use the map function and get only the product name. How awesome is that, right? Next are the computed fields, which act like a listener to any changes to other fields. If there are some changes, any defined function will be automatically executed. The best part is that you can also reference other models. For example, in the sale order, we have the total amount field and it's a computed field of the subtotal of all the sale order lines. We can add order line.product ID.price in the list of fields and the API will do the magic once you change the product price. Next are the reserved fields, particularly the state and active. If you add a state field to a model, this will act as a lifecycle stages of your model, which make it easy to control the functionalities of your code. Then if you add an active field, the record will not get deleted from the database, but it will be invisible to searches and listings. Both of these will be automatically integrated into the views once added to the template. This will be the states, and active will be an automatic action archive. Next is the MVC architecture. In terms of web client or the backend part of Odoo, the MVC pattern is quite different since it's a single page application. But in terms of the front end, using the website module, it's using the MVC pattern. It has a controller, and inside the controller, you can define which view you want to render using QWeb, which is the templating engine of Odoo. Using this template engine makes it easier to render the values passed by the controller. Using QM, you are also able to break down the templates into subcomponents and reuse them as you want. Defining a route is great since you can protect the route by adding out as public or user if you need a logged in user, or none. We can add type as HTTP if you want to work with the website, and JSON if you want to work with API. You can specify which methods are allowed, and also add cores to specify which domain can access this route, built-in CSRF protection, and website as true to get the header and footer automatically. If you want to access the database, you can easily achieve that using request.env. And all the ORM APIs discussed a while back will be available for you. If you want to use Odoo as REST API for single-page applications like React.js and Vue.js, you can also do that by serving JSON type of response. Next is the inheritance in Odoo. This is what I think is one of the best advantages of Odoo since it's very developer-friendly. Thanks to its modularity, almost everything in Odoo is possible to inherit like Python inheritance, model inheritance, Vue inheritance, JavaScript code, and styles. For model inheritance, you can extend any existing models by adding new fields, new methods, or new views. So if other developers are working in other modules and they want to add something to your models, they can easily do that. You can also inherit an existing model by completely copying its current fields and methods so that you can focus more on creating new features. How easy is that, right? For Python inheritance, you can inherit any existing fields or methods from a model. Most of the commonly inherited methods are CRUD operations. You can also inherit existing views of other models since the template is stored as an XML. This means any templates can be inherited using XPath by targeting any elements present in the template. So any module can just add any elements relevant to that model. Then JavaScript code inheritance, which lets you inherit the client side of Odoo. Using old framework makes it easier to inherit the existing JS module of Odoo. Then styles inheritance. Odoo is using Bootstrap. You can easily override the SCSS variables from Bootstrap or Odoo. You can edit colors from the backend as well as the colors from the front end. Next is the block editor of Odoo, which I think is one of the best block editors in my opinion. There are already many available snippets that you can use which are categorized. Almost everything that a website must have is already here, like banners, covers, carousels, etc. There are also features like comparisons, theme, call to action, references, accordion, etc. All of these snippets are also customizable. For example, the timeline, we can add a new item and we can move it to the right. There are also dynamic contents like forms. What I like about this form snippet is you are able to add new fields and select what type you want. There are a bunch of types here, and if you select date and time, for example, it will automatically load the calendar field widget for you. Not only that, but if you have an existing model, if you select another action, For example, create opportunity, you can automatically select an existing field from that model. Aside from those, there are also other dynamic snippets like map, countdown, etc. And lastly, there are inner contents that can be added inside any snippet categories above. There are also different animations that you can use. And what I like is the on-scroll animation, which specifies the scroll trigger based on the percentage. They also have a grid layout, and you will notice that when you click and drag some elements, and many more options that you can try. If you want to create custom snippets, you can also do that. Just create a new template and then inherit website.snippets template. Target the correct location, create your panel, and add any custom snippets you want with a logo and keywords for searching. You can also select the theme colors that you want and able to change them to your liking. If you want to use your own theme, you can also do that. I have a full tutorial on theme development. You can check that if you want to learn about theme development. Next are the reports in Odoo. Since almost all data in Odoo is stored in the database, it makes it easy to customize. As for PDF reports, you can easily create a new report for a specific model. Then define the template, and by default, a variable docs is available that point out to a single or multiple records being selected. If you want to customize it more, just add a Python code and add other data you need under getReportValues method. Another option is to create your own report as a table view in the database. The idea is the same in creating a model, except that you need to add auto is equal to false, and that's it. Under the init method, you can do the normal SQL queries you want. Then you can easily attach a pivot or graph view similar to a normal model. Next is email. In Odoo, it makes it very easy to add outgoing emails and able to add multiple setups. Just add the credential, and once done, if you want to send an email, just create a new record under mail.mail model and call send method. And they added a log for each mail you send so that you can check if the email is successfully sent or not. This is great since you will have an idea if something went wrong or not. There's also an incoming mail server that allows you to add an email address and automatically create a record based on the new model you created. That's also possible. In terms of databases, Odoo makes it easier to create multiple databases into one Odoo instance, which is good for development purposes. Backup and restore are also great, which makes migrating Odoo to a new server not a problem. Almost everything you see in Odoo is saved in the database, like the access rights, views, reports, window actions, client actions, menus, etc. This makes it easy to extend, easy to use, and very modular. Using Odoo makes you focus more on building your actual project since there are already existing built-in modules that you can install like contacts, online chat, calendar, notes, etc. All that I have discussed here are only the ones I found amazing in Odoo. There are a lot more functionalities not discussed here for its Python and JavaScript framework. Thanks to Odoo for providing us with this amazing open source system. I also like to share it with you so that you might be interested in learning about Odoo. Lastly, there's a good Odoo online community and a lot of available free apps and themes that you can try to download. Before I end this video, I just want to note that Odoo is an ERP solution that consists of several modules integrated with each other, and I will not recommend if you're only building a simple blog or personal site since Odoo is already an overkill solution for that, let alone the server you need to purchase. Alright, that's all guys. If you're a developer, you might agree or disagree with me. Let me know your comments below. Thank you and see you next time.